So we're going to be watching the Purifying Mutant Animals of Chernobyl by Chill Dude Explain.
Number 10. The Black Frogs of the Red Forest. So there's this place near Chernobyl called the Red Forest.
Okay.
It got its name because after the disaster, all the pine trees turned a rusty red color and died. But what's really interesting is what happened to the frogs there. Normal frogs in Europe are usually green or brown, but in the Red Forest, scientists found pitch black frogs. These aren't some new species. They're the same eastern tree frogs that live everywhere else in Europe. The only difference is that they've got way more melanin than normal. Melanin is the stuff that gives color to your skin, hair, and eyes. And these frogs are pumping out so much of it that they've turned completely black.
Damn.
It's like they're always dressed for their own funeral, which, given the radiation levels, is quite practical.
Do you think that the frogs are racist? If you see a European with a Chernobyl frog, do you think they will have like some type of fight, I guess? Because I know like black bears, brown bears wouldn't get along. But what about frogs?
The feral dogs of Chernobyl. When people evacuated the city, many left their pets behind. These abandoned dogs had to learn to survive in a radioactive wasteland. Now, generations later, their descendants still live in the exclusion zone. Scientists estimate there are around 250 stray dogs living in the area. Their lifespans are much shorter than normal dogs, usually only 4 to 5 years. They also tend to be smaller than their ancestors. They form packs and hang around areas where they might get food from workers or visitors, which is a smart move because most of their natural prey isn't really alive anymore. Number 8. The giant catfish. If you visit the cooling pond near the Chernobyl reactor, you'll find something straight out of a monster movie. The catfish there are absolutely massive. We're talking about fish that can grow to be over 6 feet long. Now you're probably thinking, these are radioactive monster fish. But these catfish aren't actually any bigger than catfish can normally grow. The difference is that in Chernobyl, they're all huge. You see, after the disaster, people stopped fishing in the area. No fishing means these catfish can live longer and grow to their full size. Plus, there's less competition for food since most other fish species didn't do so well after the disaster. But don't let their size fool you. These fish are far from healthy. Scientists have found they've got some serious problems going on inside. Their cells show signs of radiation damage, and many have deformed fins and skeletal structures.
That's scary,
they also have higher rates of tumors than normal catfish, and their meat has radiation levels way above what's considered safe for consumption. So don't even think about eating them.
I didn't know that fucking fishes could have tumors. They could have cancer and shit like that. I mean, for those fishes, yeah, they're living in radioactive water, but can they get cancer just a regular one outside, like in a normal place without radiation? Do they get tumors still? Like, if you go out to eat a fish, like, do we check if they have tumors?
Unless you'd like a side of leukemia with your fish. Number 7, the bacteria. This one's not an animal, but it was too wild not to mention. Scientists have found bacteria in Chernobyl that actually eat radiation. These bacteria use radionuclides as an energy source. Basically, they've turned the most dangerous thing in Chernobyl into their personal buffet. Some of these bacteria have been found growing on the walls of the reactor itself. Scientists are really excited about these bacteria because they might help us clean up nuclear waste, or even help us understand how life could exist on other planets. Number 6, the spider webs. This one's not about mutant spiders, but about what radiation does to their webs. After the disaster, scientists noticed something weird about the spider webs in the exclusion zone. Turns out, even spiders get drunk on radiation. Except instead of drunk texting their ex, they make webs that look like abstract art. Normal spider webs follow pretty predictable patterns. But in Chernobyl, the webs are all over the place. Some are asymmetrical, others have weird gaps, and many just look plain wrong. This is actually a really big deal. Spider webs are incredibly complex structures that require precise movements and calculations. When a spider can't build a proper web, it means something's messing with its nervous system. Scientists use these deformed webs as radiation indicators. The more messed up the web, the higher the radiation in that area. It's like having thousands of tiny radiation detectors scattered throughout the zone.
Dude, I can't imagine a drunk spider. Like, would they walk around? Like, do they hunt? Like, do they eat food differently? First of all, has there been insects to hunt for them to be alive? I'm guessing yes, because they're still somehow alive in that area. But, like, imagine that the spiders there would have grown to, like, massive size instead of keeping being small, like, mutantly massive, like the cat that we just saw.
The radioactive wolves. After the disaster, people left the exclusion zone, but European gray wolves saw the area was empty and moved back in. These wolves have significantly higher levels of radiation in their bodies than wolves anywhere else in the world, but they seem to be doing just fine. In fact, there are now more wolves in the exclusion zone than in most national parks. Scientists have found that these wolves have developed stronger immune systems than their non-radioactive cousins. Their bodies have adapted to deal with the constant radiation exposure. They're also showing some interesting genetic differences. Their blood has higher levels of certain proteins that help protect against radiation damage. Basically, their DNA got an upgrade package. But they still have shorter lifespans than normal wolves, and they often show signs of radiation sickness. Number 4. The radioactive ants. You might think insects would be hit hard by radiation, but some of them are doing surprisingly well in Chernobyl, especially the ants. Scientists have found that ants in the exclusion zone have developed some interesting adaptations. Their bodies contain higher levels of certain antioxidants that help protect against radiation damage. But these ants also show some pretty weird behaviors. Their colonies are often disorganized, and their tunnel systems don't follow normal patterns. They also have trouble with their navigation systems. Ants usually use magnetic fields and chemical trails to find their way around, but the radiation seems to mess with these abilities. They're basically the insect equivalent of your uncle trying to use Google Maps after 8 beers. Number 3. The bank voles. Bank voles are small rodents that live all over Europe, but the ones in Chernobyl are special. These little guys have some of the highest radiation levels of any mammals in the zone. Their bodies contain much more radiation than similar voles outside the zone. They're basically walking around with a tiny nuclear reactor inside of them. But they're not only alive, but reproducing and seemingly doing okay. Scientists are baffled by how they manage this. Studies have shown these voles have developed some unique adaptations. Their cells can repair radiation damage better than normal voles, and they've got enhanced antioxidant systems to protect against radiation. Number 2. The barn swallows. Barn swallows are pretty common birds, but the ones in Chernobyl are giving scientists nightmares. These birds are showing some of the most visible mutations of any animals in the zone. Many have deformed beaks, weird growths, and abnormal coloring. Some even have malformed flight feathers that make it hard for them to fly. Scientists have found that these birds have much higher rates of tumors than normal. They also have a lot of problems with their reproductive systems. Many eggs never hatch, and those that do often produce chicks with serious deformities. Number 1, the pine trees.
You're like a spider or bird, and you eat another radioactive thing. Would that just like make you worse? Let's say that you hunt a bunny, for example, and then you eat it, but it's full of tumors. Wouldn't that be horrible for you?
Yeah, trees are not animals, but they're still living beings. And the pine trees of Chernobyl are super interesting. So, remember the red forest we talked about earlier? Well, the pine trees that survived have some pretty wild stories to tell. After the initial die-off, some pines managed to hang on, but they didn't grow normally. Many developed multiple trunks, twisted branches, and weird growth patterns.
That's so
Scientists
cool,
call these morphological changes. I call them nightmare trees. Some look more like bushes, others like something from a Tim Burton movie. The really interesting part is how these trees reproduce. Many produce seeds that are totally different from normal pine seeds. Some are bigger, some are smaller, and many just don't work at all. But the ones that do work are creating trees that are more resistant to radiation. These pines are evolving to handle their toxic environment. That's all for today.
I find it crazy the most out of this whole video. The one that I find the most crazy is the bacteria that eats nuclear waste. Because that would be fucking amazing to have. If you have bacteria that eat nuclear waste, like I think that could be a cure for cancer. In a way. So you just give like dosages, but then you put the bacteria that eats the nuclear things. That could work, in my opinion. There's probably a lot of things that stop that from happening, but